Hello traders and welcome back to Newton FX Academy, and it's a plum pleased to announce that we finally hit episode 12. So on this episode we're going to take a look at JPY index just to see the overall market flow of the JPY, and then we're going to move on to GBP JPY, Aussie Dollar and USD Jpy. With no further ado guys, as you guys know by now is that this is my personal view of the market, so you guys can take your notes and you guys can assist this video and these techniques that I will apply in this video with your trading plan. So with no further ado, let's jump into the JPY index. So as you guys know by now is that I love to start off for my weekly time frame guys, so let's just make it full screen so you guys can understand what I'm seeing here on this pair. So as you guys can see right here, we on this index pair is that we do have this high structure point that we did broke out of this low point and we did create this lag here to the downside. So what does that basically tell me is that we basically did trade between this high structure point and this low point, but what we could notice is that price did come up for this ascending corrective phase, right? And then we break under this previous structure lows, and there you guys can see that we did break out of this previous lower low structure and price did create this new lower low structure point. If I mark this region right here, right, this is gonna be my lower high guys, lower high. So as you guys could see that we have this high point right here, we did break out of this structure low points right there. So I will mark this low point right here as my new form of a lower low structure point here into the market gang. So you guys can see we have this new lower low here into the market. So as you guys can see, we're basically in a bearish market condition. So if we scale down to our daily time frame now just to see the overall market condition and behavior, we have this low point, we did create this new high point. So this was our low, there we create this new higher high, then we have this high low. There we can see price did come in this descending corrective way. We do have this low point, there we break out of structure, there we can see some form of a price X in the evening star formation, but price did eventually didn't break under this low. It was only a retracement. There we can see price did continue to the upside but wasn't able to break this form of structure high point. So there we can see we have this low here into the market. So we can mark this low point right here, this low point right there, and we can say this was our form of a higher low point into the market gang. This was a higher low point into the market, and there we can see that price did create this low. And what I can also notice is that this is also a ascending corrective form to the upside. So now we could see that okay, price is basically to the upside. We can mark this area of interest right here as well, where price is basically trading right now. So you guys can see we have some price X in there. It was also a form of a previous higher low structure point right there. So this is gonna be an area of interest, right? So to get more insight of this is to use a Fibonacci. I can use a Fibonacci from this high point, right? Let's see. We can see that our 38% is respected right there, gang. So that's a good influence for us. So now the best is to scale into our smaller time frames to see some form of direction change, right, before we can execute. So what we can see on a 4-hour time frame, guys, is that we're still in this bullish market condition. But as you guys can see, this price did flow to the upside in this corrective form, right? It's way slower. This is what I can see. We have this low point here into the market, we have this high point here into the market. So everything in between this low point and this reason right here, we still basically gonna be bullish, guys, because my price can come to the downside, at least to this low, and then continue to the upside still, right? That is what I can see on this pair, gang. So it's basically still bullish on a 4-hour time frame, but as you guys can read a bigger picture, right, we can most likely continue to the upside for a larger retracement on our bigger time frames. It's not necessary that price must reverse, but as you guys can see on our 1-hour time frame right now, how price is basically behaving, right? As we can see, read market structure from on our 1-hour time frame. As we can see, we have this low point into the market and price did create this high point. That's our new form of a high. There we can see price did come for this descending corrective to the downside, create this high into the market. So this is basically our new form of a high low into the market. So there we can see that price did break it down with the impulsive move to the downside, right gang? There we can see we have some form of impulse to the upside, and there we can see that price is basically starting to lose momentum. So what I can see right now on this pair is that we're basically forming this ascending corrective move right to the upside, and that's showing me a sign of weakness in the yen, right? So we can see some downwards momentum here in the yen, because why, this is basically a ascending corrective move to the downside. So if price can break under this low point, create this low point, and then price come for a corrective, that's gonna be a valid sell position for us guys. But as you guys notice is that on our 4-hour time frame, we still basically bullies, because why, we're trading above this reason gang. So price can easily just come to this reason right here and then reverse to the upside to create this new higher high form of structure gang. So that is really important to keep that in mind. Where are we trading and where are the price in the market guys to get direction? So let's jump into GBP JPY gang. So the reason why I did this pair first, the index first, is just to show you guys how this will basically help you to trade a GJ gang. So let's start off on my weekly time frame just to see the market, overall market condition and flow and behaviors. As you guys know by now, I love to do that every single week. So as you guys can see that on our weekly time frame, we have this weekly low points right okay there, and we have this high point right there. So as you guys can see that we have this impulsive break to the upside, right? This is what we call an impulsive break, and there we can see that we did break out of this previous high structure point. So we did have a new high into the market. So we can mark this area of interest right there where price is basically trading right now. And what I can see on my weekly time frame is that we have a bearish in the season candle, right? We have a bearish spinning top, so that's basically showing me some form of direction change. So if next week this candle close bullish gang, we're gonna have a form of a morning star formation. So that is basically gonna show us some form of a continuation to the upside. Let me just see if I can find in the previous data. Sorry guys to interrupt it, but I just want to show you guys how the market is basically repeating itself. So as you guys can see this formation, just keep that in mind with this indecisive candle, right? So here we have something like this. Right here we can see that we have this downwards. Here we have also a bearish spinning top, but this is more bearish, this is more like a bearish hanging man. There we can see we have this bullish engulfing candle. So there you guys can see we did come for this retracement and then continue to the upside. So this is basically what I'm talking about gang. So we can see that we saw some form of indecisive, and basically showing us some form of indecision into the market. So if we scale down to our daily time frame right now, we could see that we have this low point. If we run a Fibonacci and this high structure point here into the market, we could see that price is basically here at our 618 right now gang. Let's scale into our 4-hour time frame just to see some more structure into the market, right? So what I could see right now on this 4-hour time frame is that I could see that price is basically forming this descending corrective move. Basically what does this mean for me is that we're losing momentum to the downside, right? We're losing momentum to the downside gang. We're most likely gonna see something like this, retrace and then continuation, right? I love to see something like this. This is some of the market's phases that I most likely look for once I'm trading gang. So but I will wait for cleaner direction gang, because why, we have this high here into the market. There you guys can see that we have this lows right here, and price did create this low. So still I will wait for price to break at least above this reason, and then show me some form of impulsive break, wait for the retracement, and then take the position right here at the higher low structure point gang. So this is basically what I can see on this pair. And what you guys could notice is that as you guys just will reverse back and was the previous market that I was looking and breaking down, it was the JPY index. What does the JPY index tell you? That is basically going to come to the downside. And what does this pair telling you is that we basically going to gain momentum to the upside, because why, the yen showing weakness, and the pound will continue to the upside. So this is basically the a shortcut and a cheat code for you guys to help you to know when basically to execute on a few trades, guys. So this is basically what I'm looking for when I'm trading GBP JPY. I will always look at my yen index just to show me some form of direction. Do I have strength in the index, or what is going on? Are we just have a ranging market? Are we trending? Are we bearish? Are we bullish? Just to see the overall cash flow, gang. So let's jump into Aussie dollar. So let's start off on our weekly time frame here on Aussie dollar. So you guys can see on Aussie dollar, gang, I think I did this previously. We basically still bullish here on Aussie dollar. Reason for that is we have this high point right here into the market. So you guys can see this also weekly level, and we have this high point right there. And as you guys can see that we have this range market right there. We have this low structure point here into the market. There we can see we have a structure break with this impulsive break to the downside, and there we can see that price is basically coming up in this corrective, in this ascending form to the upside, showing us some form of a lack of intent to continue on to the upside. So we can scale down to our daily time frame right now just to see the overall market condition, gang. Is that we, on a daily time frame, we're basically trading in between this low point and this high point. So this is basically this time frame just show me still that we're basically bullish, gang. But as you guys could read it from our weekly time frame, is that it's basically showing us some form of a lack of intent to continue to the upside. So if we scale down to our 4-hour time frame right now, is that we can see that we have this high structure point here into the market, and we have this 4-hour low here into the market as well, gang. So if we just run a Fibonacci from this high point to this low point, we could see that we have our 38 basically matches up with this reason, and we have an area of interest right here. It's also an area of interest, so I will most likely look for some price action before I will execute on any trade position. Wait for some form of price action, evening star, and three side down, or bearish engulfing candle before I will execute on any downwards momentum on this current pair, guys. So as you guys remember for my weekly time frame, is that we basically still in a bearish market condition with this impulsive move to the downside. So I will just wait for price to show me some clean direction and a confirmation before I will execute on this pair. So as we move into our last pair right now, guys, is that we on USD JPY. We on a weekly time frame. So what you guys could see that we have our weekly lows right here. We have a break of structure. We did have this new high into the market. So what we can see on our weekly time frame is that we overall basically in this weekly range, right? So we must wait for price to giving us some form of a structure break. So if we scale down to our daily time frame right now, we could see that, okay, price did basically showing us some form of lack of intent to continue to the downside with this descending corrective phase to the downside. We didn't break this highs yet, so we can still see some downwards momentum to the downside. So if we scale to our 4-hour time frame right now, guys, is that we can see some form of a impulse to the downside, and then impulse is basically showing me intent against intent, so we can still see some downwards momentum for some form of retracement back into this area before we can execute any trade. So if we run a Fibonacci from this low point to this previous new high structure point into the market, so we could see that price can easily come back into this region and then continue to the upside, because why, we know we overall bullies, we was basically in the range. We see prices back at this highs again, so price can come back into this region and then continue to the upside, guys. So this is it for this week, guys. Please go over this video again and keep watching it over, guys. You will also become better, and you will most likely get your edge if you're consistent and if you really want it bad enough, guys. It's your boy King GK here at Newton Effects, and I'm signing off.